Hello to you, the viewers who decided to tune in today to my video. I think you can read the title, and it says, Can you beat Fallout New Vegas with boxing tape? That's right. I decided to dedicate my video today, that's been months in the making, to a Fallout video. If you've read my several community posts, you've probably seen that I've had a couple bit of struggles with this, such as my game save file getting corrupted and setting me back a couple levels. That was not fun whatsoever. So, let's get into detail today. Now, what I mean by boxing tape, I mean boxing equipment, like boxing gloves and boxing tape, and occasionally just your bare fists. But I did think about using no armor, but since I'm bad at video games, I was like, what, yeah, yep, use some armor. Can't do that, that's bad. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. We begin our playthrough in Doc Mitchell's house. He sits us on the couch, he wakes us up and tells us that our name is Brutus and that we're a machine to be well oiled, super coordinated. Actually, I'm gonna lie about the coordinated part. I made sure that our perception level was so low that you'd see my grand who can barely see and is going blind has better eyesight than this man. But Brutus, he is a force to be reckoned with. We gave him such a high strength stat, super high endurance, and a decent amount of luck and agility so he can be able to run long distances and go band for band with everyone else. But I made him kind of dumb, but gave him so low of a charisma that you'd think that he'd be someone who's never touched grass before. Now, after that, Doc Mitchell tells us about the birds and the bees, and he lets us choose our stats. The stats I chose for an interesting playthrough was Heavy Handed and Wild Wasteland. The Wild Wasteland perk was always chosen because it's just something you have to do when you play this game. And Heavy Handed was chosen because I think it's good to have an edge over your opponents. So, after Doc Mitchell tells us to get out of his house, I steal everything he has and sell it. I do that to a couple of his neighbors too, so I can get some stim packs, some buff out, some jet, everything you need. And about 5 hours into the game, I do decide to rob everyone else around the town and around other locations so I can have enough XP. But now we make it to the tops where we decided to talk to Benny after we made it through Robo Border Patrol by selling them everything we could. But now we go to Benny. Benny's a little loser who's got a rat face who decided to be someone else. And this guy, this someone else, he's my chum. I'm putting my knuckles in his head. I'm beating his boys. I took everything I had in my pocket, from the ancient drugs known as Turbo, Stim Packs, Buff Out, Psycho, Med-X, whatever I had. I took it. I even ate a couple things I had in there too. I think I had a couple of, like, I don't know, junk food, chips. I think I even had a gecko steak in my pocket too. But if you want, you could just sit back and watch everything that happens. I'll stay silent for a couple seconds for it too. And can you believe it? I did that. That's not even the first death. I didn't even die once during this encounter. So, since I did this all on my own, no companion, nothing needed, I decided to take everything off their dead bodies. That's right, I said it. I took everything off their corpses. I sold it. I mainly took their guns, but I left Benny naked. Yeah, 'cause he deserved it. He sucked. He shot me in the head, left me in a ditch in Good Springs, Come on, why'd you leave me in that dumpster town? There's so many other places you could have taken me. But after the Blood Bowl, I decided to make my way to Mr. House, and I tried selling my stuff to him, but he didn't want it. So I went down to his little sub basement where I met the old lady who tried buying chocolates from SpongeBob, and I realized that was Mr. House, unfortunately. So after meeting him, I decided to put my knuckle into his face after he asked for a high five, but it didn't really kill him. One strike in, so I decided to keep going, and that didn't really work. So I looted everything out of his penthouse, and then I finally found Yes Man. Yes Man, if I'm being honest, is the best outcome to end the game as fast as possible. His whole purpose is so that if you anger every faction in the game, even the sub-factions, you can have a way out. A way to finish the game without locking yourself out of the ending. But I chose Yes Man because he's the fastest route. He's the guy who doesn't leave me dealing with all these kinds of like horrible exits and like stupid um, problems, I guess, and side quests. I know the developers of this game made side quests because they wanted to give their fans something good, but I'm not that guy. I'm a guy who's trying to play video games for YouTube, and I already had a deadline for this video, and that was like a month ago. Which, if I'm being honest, was my fault. But come on, at least make them kind of fun and not some fetch quest for this game. Like the NCR and the Legion, I don't want to do that. That's not fun at all. If y'all heard that, that was probably because I was plugging in my laptop. It's done. But anyway, after we went to the Caesar's Legion stuff, we had to go and, make sure we had assured destruction. So the Securitrons were successfully upgraded, and they were promptly given something like roids for robots, which is good enough for me. So we decided to go over to the Boomers as well after we finished our problems with the Caesar's Legion. I could have ended everything at Caesar. I'm just being honest there. If I wasn't so low level, I probably would have put my face all the way over to Caesar's business, yap at him for a couple minutes, and then probably try and fight everyone there and die within 5 seconds. But I didn't do that because that would have been too easy. I'm joking. That would have been so hard. I didn't do that. I instead just went over to power everything up and make things done and over with. So I made my way over to the Boomers, and I did a bit of trolling there, I'm being honest. I didn't mean to accidentally start a bet with that one dude. And after I found out he wanted to make a bet, I kind of pushed him away, and I left him on the ground, and he's not alive anymore. I took all his money. I think it was like 560 caps he had in his pockets. Was it worth it? Of course it was. Anything's worth it. I need money. I'm poor. I need it. So, after dealing with that, I decided to go and deal with Pearl. I walked actually, sort of walked, it was more waddled. It was like real slow. I waddled my over there, and I kind of dealt with Pearl the old way. Instead of putting her in a home like you do with the average old person, I kind of beat her up until her whole clan was upset with me, and then she died, and then I took everything she had, and that was about it. I did meet with the other victims, friends, like the Khans, the Brotherhood of Steel. I didn't really need them. I kind of just talked to them for a second, and then ignored them later on. That's all I really needed from them. They weren't really important to me at all. They were just kind of like exceptions. So after that, I decided to make my way over to the Hoover Dam because Yes Man said I could. So he told me I could. I decided I could do it. Let's do that. That's awesome. But I didn't. I was so underleveled that just dealing with the regular legionaries was just such a pain. It was horrible. It was like diabolical to me. I could not do it anymore. It was bad. So I made it to the inside of the Hoover Dam, but that's where my game decided to crash, and that set me back a couple hours. Now, I am being honest, it was kind of bad. Well, actually, it was horrible. It was frustrating, and it set me back about 5-6-ish hours into the game. I was upset, but it was bound to happen as I am playing on an Acer. Not exactly a gamer laptop, if I'm being honest, but it is something good. So, I was able to get enough insight, and I was like, maybe this is a good time to level up and do something good. So I decided to return to the Hoover Dam about level 23-ish, And it was good for me because I was able to get some OP perks. And it was so OP to the fact that I was like, I don't really need these horrible armor. Let's just get some rad suit stuff so I have 50% more rad radiation protection. So it was pretty good. It did break though, so that DT protection was like 2, but I'm not complaining. I had a high protection rate from my armor. I did get the subdermal armor protection, so I kind of didn't really need it, but it did set me up to like 18 points for protection, which was good. But if I'm being honest, I am going to be honest here. I did depend a little bit on my new companions, Raul, who I rescued from Utopia, and I also got a cyber dog from the Kings, and I decided to put a new dog in there. His name is Ray. I could have put in Violetta, but I didn't want to because that's a bad dog and it's evil and it deserves to have a good memory. So the dog I chose was Ray, and Ray deserved everything. Little Ray deserved all the little cookies you could give that poor doggy. So I took him all the way to Leggett's camp. He got to play with some people, and he helped me get back to where my game crashed, and I was able to proceed further into the camp. And as I did enter the Hoover Dam, it was decent. I did get attacked by the soldiers because they picked up my stealth boy, and they're like, "Wait, he's not invisible anymore," and they killed me once, only once though. But that was good enough for me. I was able to make it past, and then I was able to go back to Leggett's camp, and then I was able to meet some new people, and I cracked my knuckles on some poor legionnary's head so hard that my game glitched, and that my knuckles were like looking broken and disgusting, and it was kind of gross to look at. I didn't really know how to fix it, so when I made it up to the Leggett Lanius, I decided to just take so much stuff that I thought it would like make me better or something. It kind of did make me better, but I still didn't really know how to fix it. But I talked to Leggett Lanius. I was able to convince him to fight me man on man. Pause. Do not clip that. Do not clip that. But anyway, I was able to fight him mano a mano, hand to hand. And since I was able to lie to him pretty well because I did raise my speech and barter level high enough to convince him to fight me one on one, I didn't agree to that. So I proceeded to use Raul and Ray and the Securitrons to take him out within 5 minutes. That's right, 5 whole minutes. After pumping myself with so much drugs that I could be called a CVS pharmacy, I was able to slow time using turbo and just wail on Leggett Lanius. I beat on his legs, his body, his arms, his head. It was so sad. It was like watching someone slipping in a tub that was filled with like oil so they couldn't grip on the edges and get out. But like I was able to get him down. It was kind of sad. But after he finally died, it was like 5 minutes of just wailing on him with everyone else shooting at his body. I took everything he had. I took his helmet, his healing powder, his blade of the east, everything. I decided after that to go down to the gate and get confronted by everyone's favorite, General Oliver from the NCR. I don't like the NCR either. I don't like how General Oliver's face looks kind of rat-like. So after I talked to him for like 5 seconds, I had my Securitrons blow him away like the Rapture would come take you. But instead of the horns he heard, it was missiles and lasers. And I'm pretty sure he also felt the wrath of my hands meet his face after I took him down, took his everything aside from his armor. I think I took his hat too, but I left him there just to feel bad about himself for a couple of seconds. And then I just finished the game with Yes Man telling me how good of a person I am, and that was about it. If you stuck around long enough for me to talk and yap about my game and this challenge, I do hope you consider subscribing and leaving a comment and maybe leaving a like, as any form of traction is good traction to this video. Leave more stuff for my channel, please. I'm begging you. I only need a couple more subscribers to be at 100. If I'm at 100, I'll do something cool, I promise. And that cool thing will probably be playing Minecraft and talking over it. But if you did like this video, thank you. And I hope